This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello, this is Kathy, and this is the Cinemile, the podcast where we record our walk home from the movies out every Sunday. We also review the latest TV over on our Patreon and have spent the last 10 weeks recapping every episode of season 5 of For All Mankind and slowly losing our minds.
Yes, our minds have left us. If you have been listening to those episodes, well, you know already we have many issues with season 5 of For All Mankind, which is a beloved show of ours. We've been disappointed, and we spent almost every week going slowly crazy and being frustrated. But we thought for the season finale we'd bring in a friend of the pod, but most importantly a defender of season 5, because we desperately need a fresh perspective. So we are very delighted to be welcomed again by co-host of the Empire Film Podcast, Helen O'Hara. How are you, Helen?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. I'm actually sitting here with Admiral Ed Baldwin, which is what I call my small cuddly toy Mars.
Excellent. Good name.
Yes.
Very
so
cute.
Helen, are you
we're both here. We're willing to take on
you
the
a
fight
Marsie?
for all mankind. I probably am a Marsie. I feel like, well, actually, you know what? We're all Irish here. It behooves us to fight for the colonized.
That's
peoples.
it. Yeah. We're inherently
It does.
Marsies.
It behooves us. We are inherently Marsies. We are natural born
We are
Marsies.
behooved.
So
We
yes.
Yeah, but the difference is
We are behooved.
the Irish were on Ireland for the hundreds and thousands of years.
Details.
The Marsies themselves, in fact, were colonizers.
Yes, they are colonized, but they're also like the colonized. It's a complicated
It is
relationship.
complicated.
You know what? We're
Let's
going to
not
get
get
into
into
it.
it.
Well,
So-
yeah, we can't speak about all of season 5, obviously. Here, we're just here to recap the final episode. But like, top line, Helen, what were your thoughts before you watched the season finale?
I did have some quibbles, and I did consider going 4 stars on this season. And then I didn't. I went 5 stars anyway, because I trusted that when I reviewed this for Empire magazine, I had only seen the first 8 seasons, but I had been able to binge them. I hadn't had to watch them week by week and sort of get frustrated if something didn't happen in one episode, because I went straight into the next one. And I trusted that they would land the ship in the last 2, literally and figuratively. And look, I do think this is a weaker season than some we've had before, but I just love it. I just love the idea of it. I just love the concept. I just love that it takes space seriously. I love that it's optimistic. I love that it is human. I love shows where people make plans and then something goes along and like it's more complicated than that. I think that's what I loved about Game of Thrones at its best. And that's what I love about this a lot of the time. I love shows about competent people being competent and smart people being smart. Yes. And I think, again, at its best, that's what this show is. And I do have a lot of just romance around the space race. So this just, from day one, I mean, I was in on this show from, I think I've said this to you, from about the first 5 minutes of episode 1 of season 1, when they said Ted Kennedy has cancelled his weekend party at Chappaquiddick and returned to Washington. I was like, this is so clever. The alt history. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so on board. So as a history nerd, as a space nerd, like, this is so my jam. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, and that's it. When we loved season 1 and season 2 so much, and like, we don't do stars in our podcast, but like, they would have been 5-star seasons for us. Yeah. Season 3, we got a little bit shaky with it. Season 4, we were a bit shakier. And then this season we are like in a full-blown earthquake. We won't go into it here. Anyone listening can go and listen to us shitting all over this show for the last 9 episodes.
We have not been kind.
And if you're not on the Patreon, you can go in for free for a week and listen to them and then get out again. But we needed you here, Helen, because we also had guests from your podcast friends too, Sam and Louise from the 90-minute festival podcast last week, and the 4 of us were like quite negative. So it's really good to have you in for this. And also this is probably the best episode of the season, right? So for us, we're actually more positive this week, right? Dave?
Yeah, let's get into the finale. So we're here to talk about season 5, episode 10. So we are going to spoil it from here on out. So if you're listening, be warned. And yeah, I agree. Me and Kathy both really enjoyed this episode. I mean, For All Mankind, for all its failings of late, I think they've always been able to deliver very satisfying season finales.
Yeah.
And besides a few wobbles here in this episode, which we'll get into, I came away feeling like they kind of did deliver a very satisfying and neat sort of climax with some real highlights. So Helen, what were your thoughts about this episode, I guess, on a whole, and then we'll go through plot by plot.
Yeah, I'd agree that I think it sort of got to where it was going. I do think that this first half of the season was a little slower. I think it sped up once the sort of Mars rebellion started, and I like that was complicated and unsatisfying in a way, because I think that it would be thinking about, your colony that, like, unlike the Americas, rebelling against Britain, you genuinely do rely on Earth for practically everything. You are not in any way self-sufficient. There is no other option. And so I thought that was an interesting thing to kind of explore and get into, and I find that really compelling. And yeah, to come to this point and sort of have this thing coming to a head, have Earth forces actually attacking and all of these, and the Martians fighting back just by knowing the terrain, which I thought was fun, thinking about every rebellion you've ever heard of that actually worked. I just thought that worked out pretty well. I also thought that the Titan stuff, I'd really been feeling like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about Kelly and what she did to get into Titan.
That was so, we love that.
I came off Team Kelly fully.
Yeah, I think actually
Dave's Team Wall.
I think a lot of people abandoned Team Kelly. I think out of all the betrayals by members of the Baldwin family of things or concepts they were supposed to be loyal to this season, I think that was by far the most upsetting. So I think the show acknowledged that in some way. It's obviously not a straight trade, but I think her sacrifice, if you like, was also something of an apology. I'm not saying it was enough. I'm not saying it was forgivable, but I thought that's somewhat rebalanced the scales and was a bit satisfying. Yeah, for those of us who have an issue with her.
I don't have an issue with it though. Like I said, she's a Baldwin. She's not turning around and not landing on Titan. Like, and I felt like it was, given what we've known of Kelly's in season 2 and her, like, from when she was like in the Arctic to now, all she's ever wanted to do is study these life forms. To me, it completely tracked. And
it completely
it was
tracks.
the most
Yeah, I agree
intriguing
with
part
that.
of the season. I wish one of the biggest things we've been complaining about is that we wanted way more of the Titan stuff. Like 6 months flew by, we never saw them on the journey. We didn't get enough of their dynamics. That poor woman who a few episodes ago Alita told her husband had been injured. We never heard of
What
the
happened
husband
to her
again.
husband?
Like,
Is her husband okay?
like, it's a strange detail to introduce and just drop. Like, we just kept feeling like it was undercooked. But then, and Kelly's one of the few characters we've left, that we actually have been following for a long time. So I just really wish they'd spent more time in the discovery part of Titan and less on like following Miles and his wife around Mars. Like,
well, let's
so boring.
Well, his wife didn't get
No.
much
no,
screen
she
time at all,
disappeared
actually.
completely.
But
We'll
yeah.
finish out on Titan. Although I will say, just to put a quick pin in it, I've said this before, but there is a big difference between a character's actions being in character and tracking. That's not my issue. Like, Kelly didn't act out of character at all. I understood all the decisions she made. That doesn't mean I have to like them.
No.
And that doesn't mean I'm on board with her decisions, which I'm absolutely not.
No.
Team Wall.
Team Wall.
So Earth. Let's start on Earth. So we find out that the beginning of this episode, we get a few more glimpses of news coverage, which is all we get of Earth. And I mean, it's clearly a conscious decision that we're setting the show on Mars now. That's where the action is. So Earth is really what Russia used to be, and the Soviet curtain when in the first few seasons. So, but we get the sense that the M6 we're told they've condemned. They've been condemned on Earth for invading Mars. So there is infighting now amongst countries on Earth. There's talk of World War III. But never mind all that. Margot is back.
I have been up in arms about the treatment
Kathy
of
was
Margot
right.
this season. Like, we've lost Joel Kinnaman in episode 3. We're in spoilers here. We only then had Kelly and Alida left, really. Dev has basically not been in it. Margot, to me, has always been, alongside Ed, like the core of the show. And to have her done so dirty, left in a prison cell in episode 3 or 4, crying when Alida went off to Mars, and then have no involvement in the show. I've been saying the whole time she could be doing maths from her prison cell. She could have something. So when they brought her back, I actually felt such a sense of relief, because I had wondered if like she'd fallen out. I was like, has she fallen out with the showrunners in real life? Like, how could they have written a character out like Shonda Rhimes style? You know what I mean? What did you think about Margot's abrupt disappearance off the show?
I think it's been it felt more like a slow disappearance to me, that just because I guess it's meant to be consequences. I guess it's meant to be, she tried to do what she saw as morally the right thing, which was obviously in the Baldwin tradition, treason. And
Sarah Guy, I'll never get over him though.
Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, she has been paying the cost ever since. And I think it's an interesting thing, because I feel like they are trying to explore some of the ways that pioneers have been treated, maybe historically. Like, that's definitely, and we'll get into this, but like Miles at the end of this episode, I think I gasped the first time I watched it. I was genuinely like, no prison, just presidency, in fact, rather than prison. Spoiler. But that's really interesting, and I think that's really smart, and I think that kind of leans into historical movements again. But I think also kind of so does Margot. Here is someone who could actively help you and who could be doing all sorts of things, but you've got her languishing in prison because you've decided to take this stand that no, she went too far. Everybody else didn't go too far, but she did, which is extreme. But I kind of bought it for that reason. I think it's a tragedy. I think it's a waste. But I'm not sure it's a waste on the part of the showrunners so much as just the part of like society. Yeah. God, that sounded a bit.
But I get that. But I felt like, as one of the few characters that that I care about this season, they could do all that while still showing her to us. Like, she just wasn't in it at all.
I think Ren Schmidt. I've said this already before, but I think Ren Schmidt. It's a contract dispute. I think she wanted top billing or more money.
Wow.
Or. I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, or it's also possible that the writers just felt that they want to center the action on Mars. Margot's in prison.
I think it's more about that.
It's like, it is very hard to write yourself out of that. And I will say, so in this episode, what happens is, Alida's daughter comes to visit her. She asks, she asks Margot for help. She's concerned about her mom in the middle of this conflict. And we see Margot going on this a series of phone calls that don't go anywhere, and we the former her astronaut from season 3 that came out, which was, I think, one of the great moments of the show. Was a great return from him.
But at this point, because I was like, they might have brought back some old, like, I was like, bring back Ellen, bring back Danielle. Like, I've been so pining those characters that, like, for her to only get him in.
But they'd have never been fans of Margot. Margot always alienated people.
That's it.
No, but I wanted to see them even. I mean, I'm getting really thirsty on the show for some old characters, but like, even to see a conversation from them of like, Margot tried to contact me and like I didn't.
But I think they were on her list and they didn't answer the phone.
I think that's probably. I would like to do like a close up and a screenshot of her list. And
and she remembered everyone's phone number. Of course, she did. She's Margot Madison.
Well, yeah, because it's pre sort of. Well, there's an interesting point that my husband's been making about the phone. So they called them Newtons. Have you noticed that?
No.
And that's because that's the computer that I believe Apple tried to make while Steve Jobs wasn't at Apple.
Oh, that's funny.
They've been calling them Newtons,
but in this,
For All Mankind.
yeah, and in this story, the history of Apple is different, and it was Steve Jobs, for example, who was obsessed with things being thin. So that's why the Newtons are thicker than iPhones, because so it's a whole
funny.
I
again,
did not
it's
catch
just a
that.
whole
That's
poof.
great world
Love
building.
that.
Actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Again, beautiful old history, which I love. I will say, I think the most plausible reason that Ren Schmidt isn't in this more is that she had a bunch of stuff come out in 2025, and this was shot in 2024. This was the very first thing that Connor Story did a Russian accent.
Yeah, that's right.
So, so I think she genuinely may simply not have been very available. And I think also they are trying to move the focus to Mars. The idea is that this, I think we've seen it this season. We've kept moving out. If you think about how much time we spent on the moon in season 2 and season 3, and then we've spent time on Mars most of season 4 and season 5, there's been less and less Earth.
Yeah.
I would imagine next time Titan for sure. But also, there's that shot at the end of the film of the episode, which we'll probably get into.
That. So, I just to close it out, then I personally thought that I quite liked this Margot plot, because when it came in, I thought firstly I was happy for Kathy, because Kathy has been saying the whole time that Margot's going to come back and save the day and do some maths, and your initial pitch was Prison Break,
Yeah, I
Margot
thought there
Prison
might have
Break,
been
which
a
was
Prison
a stretch.
But at the very least,
I mean, that would
And
be
then
fun.
shuttled up to Mars.
at the
to
very
save the
least,
day.
I was like, she's doing some maths for somebody somewhere.
But I actually think what the show did was more interesting, where she failed, and she says this line to Alita's daughter: "Not everything can be fixed. Some problems can't be worked."
Yeah, that was really good.
And that's a really interesting. I mean, it's somewhat unsatisfying as a to experience as an audience, but I think that's quite interesting of the show to be like, no, she has lost her influence. Some things cannot be solved, and that's really interesting, and it shows how Margot has grown as a character, right? She has.
Yeah.
Is this the first problem we've ever seen Margot give up on,
fail at?
And she,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
she deals with it, and it was also, I liked how small stakes it was. It was just
wanted to
Alita's
fund them.
daughter wants to know if she's okay.
I really like that.
So-
And like, it's a sad. I think this is a fitting ending for her now. I was just disappointed at the like drop off in her for like 5 episodes. But the thing of like Margot lived her whole life as we saw her, always yearning, right, for like Sergei, and she was always a very lonely person, and Alita's really the only one who got through. So it's nice at the end that she was in a scene with Alita's daughter. Like, that was about as good as it could have gotten for her.
There was some kind of passing of the torch, or passing of knowledge, or passing of just feeling, human feeling. That was really good, because she has been the most lonely and isolated character. I think, I mean, again, just to get a bit highfalutin, I think the show is a bit collectivist. I mean, for all the sort of heroics of like a Gordo and Tracy, or obviously Ed or Kelly or Alita, like, it is about everybody has to be working together to get stuff done, and I think that's maybe Margot's original problem. But I think, look, what has been annoying you, I think, is a structural problem in the show that the showrunners are deeply aware of, which is that everybody you've spent at least the first 3 seasons falling in love with is basically now dead.
It's really difficult.
And gone. And you know, they have to introduce new characters who you have to try and fall in love with. And honestly, I also struggled with this, and I was kind of telling myself, like, Helen, you complain when, you know, you would complain if they weren't doing this, so you don't get complained because they are. Like, you cannot keep the old generation involved. There has to be a passing of the torch.
Like, it had to go
it's
this
built
season.
in. It had to go.
Yeah, like if we're
But
going
equally,
into season,
it's not been fun.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, you're right. If we go into seasons 5 and 6 and it's still Ed and Danielle, and
it would have been so sad.
No, you're right. Yeah, it had to be done. I mean, in my opinion, for the most part, I don't really care about any of the new characters, and they haven't landed it. And I think that's not the fault of the actors. I just feel that they haven't done the character work. Like, I feel like a lot of this season ended up just being stuff is happening. A lot of stuff is happening, and there's no character moments. When I think back to like Gordo in a, you know, drunk in a swimming pool and like he can't do it, and he's just or Gordo on the moon and he's going crazy. This is all like it was always rooted in character. Yeah,
and a lot of that, like, and I totally agree that, like, and that's why I was so desperate even for like Ellen to show up in one of the montages or like on the phone call or something. I agree. It's a huge problem. All the characters we cared about are gone. However, like, Gordo and Ed were up on the moon in season 1 and we cared about them so much. Like, they could have made us care about new characters. We've had 2 seasons with Miles. If Miles never graced the screen again,
we call him Union Dad.
We call him Union Dad on our podcast. If Union Dad never showed up again, I probably genuinely wouldn't notice. Like, Dev has just disappeared. He's like wandering around on Valium. I don't know what's going on.
Dev is an interesting one, and I think that's a really interesting case, because he did sort of disappear from this season, except for one, act of genocide. No, genocide is too strong, but a war crime. He disappeared apart from a war crime. Sure. But then I think it's, again, just from a social point of view, it's probably good for us to be reminded that billionaires are not on our side. Yeah. And even if our goals and their goals align for a minute or two, they probably don't long term. So I guess there's some kind of point to that. Yeah. But I do think there could have been more Dev, and I wouldn't have been mad about it. I was kind of interested in that. I thought Celia was well written, well performed.
Who's Celia?
But again, maybe disappeared. She's the security officer, Morel Enos, the one whose partner betrayed her. And
we were calling her by her surname.
She's one of the rebels.
Boyd?
The redhead.
Yeah,
Boyd.
Boyd.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed her. I thought Alex and Lily were good. I really like both actors.
I love Alex.
Well, yeah. Alex is good. And I really loved Ruby Cruz in the Willow TV show. So I've kind of brought that love with
that's
me
the
here,
actress that plays Lily, is it?
Is
really
that her?
That's the actress that plays Lily.
I really like Lily.
Yeah.
I love Alex. I think of all the new casting, I thought Avery was really good when she came on. Sorry, we're off topic here, because she looks so like Tracy.
She really does.
Looks like her. But over time, I ended up very disappointed, because Gordo and Tracy, and I revere them, they were just such incredible characters. And I do think, like, season 2, the finale of season 2 is like possibly one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen.
100% agree. It's incredible.
So I think in the end she doesn't have any of the spunk or the spitfire of those two, and she kind of
I expected a big moment for her in this episode, like a really big moment, and we didn't really get that. She has a role, but she just hasn't had that moment of either heroism or villainy or just action or whatever that I kind of thought she'd get. It's almost been like this season has been about setting her up for the future. Yes, and I'm interested to see what happens to her in the future, but I felt like she was very well set up. I understand now she's been through some shit and she has been traumatized and she has very conflicted feelings about her family and yada yada yada. I get all that now. Now I would like to see her do stuff.
Do
something.
Bit of a personality. Yeah. Alex, though, I love, and I think he was perfect casting, and I think it's so funny. Before the season started, we haven't watched it yet. We were behind on watching it, and they actually said to us, do you want to interview him? And we were like, we're not an interview show, we don't interview people. And also I was like, I don't even know who he is. And now I'm like, I wish I'd interviewed him, because he was I should have talked to him. I think he's the perfect casting. He was great to bring in someone with his like caliber of fans from Somewhere I Turned Pretty and all that stuff. But I know I'm bringing us off the recap, but just for a second on just this theme that I think is really interesting around when we keep trying to put our fingers on like what's missing for us. And some of it's the old characters, but as we were saying, you can build up new characters. And then I found this really good piece on Screen Rant, right? And not to talk about Gordo Stevens again, but we're obsessed with him. They kind of brought this really good thread together that the show itself hasn't actually brought together, where they talked about the moment in season 1, right? In episode 7, Hi Bob. If you think that was only 7 episodes in and how good that was, his mental state deteriorated after months of them being on the moon. And he has a lucid moment, right, where he's saying to Ed, how much he misses like their life of being adventurers, and he says, we used to be on the bleeding edge of things, go to the highest, fly the fastest, pioneers. That's what we were. Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone, pioneers, blah 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 blah. And then he goes, and now we're just homesteaders. The whole of the universe is just waiting to be explored, and what are we doing? Playing house. That's not what I signed up for. Not what I signed up for at all. And actually, as a viewer, I think that's what's happened to us this season. I have not signed up to watch them faffing about on Mars, fighting over food and supplies, and
hence you wanted more time.
Exactly. And I think and it's so clever of Screen Rant to have pulled that through, and I actually wish that Ed or somebody had articulated that for us on screen, that's what was happening. And it's funny, it took a third source for me to realize and put it together. We're just watching them homesteading, and that's boring.
Yeah, I guess there's a bit of that in Kelly's arc.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Kelly's bored.
Kelly is the one who is determined to absolutely push forward. And given that Alita's there, I guess also Alita. But you're right that they're both a little bit sidelined in terms of screen time to the Mars Rebellion and everything else. I do think that the Mars thing is interesting. I think it was the idea last season that they had to, keep the Goldilocks, the asteroid, in Mars orbit. Yeah. Because otherwise Mars would just have been kind of essentially abandoned. It wouldn't have been important anymore. It wouldn't have mattered. I thought that was great. And I thought the automation thing this season really actually reflected the AI debates that are going on at the moment, which I don't think were going on so much when this was written. So that was really interesting. But they felt very timely. But also it did feel again like, well, Mars will calcify. Mars will sort of die as a colony, as a human settlement, if there isn't a reason for workers to be there doing stuff as humans. You need humans there. And I think that's the kind of forward motion in this season, is making Mars an actual place that has an independence and has its own voice and has its own say, and isn't just a way station, isn't just a gas station, whatever else. Like it's kind of doing what we've done before in last season, but I guess building on that, because you cannot keep expanding in the solar system if you don't actually stay anywhere you go. If you're just sort of the USS Enterprise just visiting a bunch of planets in the row but not actually staying on any of them, what have you done? Even Starfleet, is colonizing all these planets as it goes. So I think that maybe leans into the idea of like, what if we were actively trying to escape this planet and expand out into space in the solar system? We should be setting up colonies on obviously unexplored, unoccupied land.
I think you make a good point, Ellen. But to bring your analogy together with Kathy's point, Star Trek Colony is a show I wouldn't watch.
Yeah, fair, I guess. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's funny.
But I also think it's really interesting that this is part of a grand tradition of stories where a Mars colony rebels against Earth. Like, I cannot think of any story featuring a Mars colony in a major role that has not involved that colony rebelling against Earth.
It's true.
I love the quote in the president last episode where the president goes, "We, your home planet."
That was a good
That
line.
was very good. It's like, you idiots. It's like I was saying to Dave, it's like the way that they act like they own Mars, right? The so-called Marsies. They're just Helios employees, right? On a Helios ship. I was saying to Dave, it's like if we were employed on a cruise and then they told us we had to leave and we were like, no, we run the ocean. It's like, well, no, you don't. You'd fucking die if the cruise left and you would drown. And with them, it's like, without Helios's oxygen and like facilities, you were dead. So
I don't buy this argument though, because they've made it their home there for 10 years.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, but you don't make an oil rig your home. You're just on the oil rig. Like, I just don't agree.
But you don't. No, that's not right. You don't bring your entire family to the oil rig. You don't live your lives there.
Yeah, but all their kids have to leave. But like when they turn 18.
And maybe if they did, if the oil rig had a community and a marketplace and schools
and Ilias.
And your generations are growing up there, and Ilias, like a bar, that's different. Then it's like, take the oil rig. It's our oil rig. I actually understand their position.
Yeah, I think there have been precedents for this. Again, a lot of this is taken from Earth history, but I think, there are sort of East India Company outposts that became people's home for generations, and then it was their home, and then they fought with the natives against the British. This
is why we need Helen.
I feel like that's kind of...
Helen's pulling us out of the muck.
Helen knows history.
We would be in the weeds bitching right now if she wasn't here with us.
Thank you, Helen.
Yeah, I'm trying. But it's not that I don't see the points. I do agree that I think some of the pacing this season wasn't as good as before, and I personally would have liked more, on Titan and so on.
Too many corridors.
There were a lot of corridors. This was a very corridor-heavy show. Like the website Sci-Fi Corridors was going to have a really good time with this one, that's for sure.
But what if someone rode a motorbike down the corridors? Yeah. Let's.
I did really enjoy. Can I just say I really enjoyed Polivanov, the Mars governor.
He's great.
He's my new crush.
We like him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. I think I love that he's a wife guy. I love
Yeah.
that he and his wife are so close
Bunny
that she's
rabbit.
able to basically
Or what's they call
send secret messages through blinks at
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
Love that.
Me and Kathy do that actually
We
all the
started
time.
doing it.
But it's a
course
podcast,
you
so we've
do.
been getting
I
away
think
with it the
once he
whole
grew
time.
the
How we
beard-
produce our podcast together. It's like,
Once he grew the beard, I was like, I'm really into him now. Like, I quite fancied him. And I was some of the female patrons wrote in that they were of similar persuasion.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I get that.
He's hot.
I respect
Yeah.
that.
Right. We better move to Mars. So I'll
Okay, yeah.
I'll
Unlike this show, we've not spent enough
I'll take
time
us.
on
I'll
Mars.
take us through some of the actions that happen on Mars, and then we can just broadly reflect on it. So at first we got this sort of rewind. We flashed back slightly
was
because
terrible.
Miles and the governor and Boyd, and we never saw any of them in episode 9 where we saw the governor briefly, and then
As
we
soon as they
did.
started the flashback, I was like, oh.
Then we did this little rewind flashback to oh my god, wait a second, the governor didn't turn them in, and it was all a ruse, which I found painful because it was so obvious.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
So all of that was incredibly painful and a complete waste of our time. But when we got to the point of the governor in the M6 command
That was
room
good.
and Miles versus Alida in Moxie with this ethical debate of, do you press a button to destroy, to kill a room full of people but wipe out their military command?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very interesting and juicy dilemma and moment. And I did gasp when Miles hit the button, because that feels like Union Dad finally did something interesting.
He broke bad,
and
yeah.
he went over the line, right?
Yeah, like, this is a man
Yeah,
who wanders
that
around
was
in chinos
really
going,
fascinating.
I don't know what to do. And
I think we can all get along.
Yeah, he was badass. And also, sorry, but on that scene, actually the most exciting bit of the episode, because we've been for weeks going, where is Ilya? Because we love him. When Ilya showed up and the Russian, like, prime minister, whatever he is, what do we call him? Governor is like trying to get Ilya out, and then it exploded. That was really good.
That was
Like,
tense. It was
proper
good.
tension.
It was a good scene.
That was really tense, yeah.
Yeah, and we're-
I was worried what Ilya was going to say, and like, was he going to blow his cover and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty fascinating.
That was really and it was a big
No, it was
explosion.
really well played. I didn't expect, right up until it happened, I didn't actually expect Miles to actually hit the button.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as it
yeah,
were.
same.
I genuinely, it was a genuine surprise.
I totally agree.
And Alita's just in the corner like, ugh. And it's like, well, Alita, say what you think or don't, but you're just huffing in the corner and just being a bit lame.
Well, he just killed a room full of people, so I can understand her
guess what
holding
she-
her
yeah.
tongue, I guess, at that
She's
point.
like, Union Dad's gone really
I thought
evil.
Alita was good in this episode, and she was like, and then I thought she had a really interesting conversation afterwards with Moldova. I think these
I
two
love
are really
Moldova.
interesting together. I love her. Yeah, we didn't get enough Moldova. You know, they give it.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to be more in Star City and stuff,
Yeah.
if she's going to turn up a lot
Probably.
there.
You're
Wondering that.
right.
And like, I wanted to see, you know, when Alita was like, I haven't been able to contact Titan, I wanted Moldova to be like, I have a salt and pepper shaker for you. Because that was how she contacted out of jail. And we still don't
Yeah,
know
that's
how.
good.
But I love her and Alita together.
I found this so that Alita and Moldova end up doing the classic thing which we found was lacking in For All Mankind season 5 of problem solving. You said it at the top, Helen. That's what this show is great at. It's human beings working together with a common goal, and we did get quite a bit of that in this episode, which I think is why we liked it.
She was almost like a Margot or Sergei like stand-in, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, and so it was a lot of now again, I think, which is part of this season's failing, they never given it enough time, any of it. It's always, the thing is always resolved really quickly in one moment. There was a little bit of more room here for some of these problems, but you know, we had the whole thing with the satellite, and then they go, so then they end up going to Dev, and you know, they have to turn on a thing and switch off a thing, and Dev ends up, instead of sending an employee to do it, you know, he goes out in a spaceship and puts a thing in it,
Does it
and they
himself?
get the
That was
communications
really
going.
exciting, actually. I thought at that point, I thought Dev was going to die, and I was like, they could do with killing him off.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did seem like a
I thought he
death.
was going to kind of redeem himself in death.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
So do you want to pause there? Let's talk about Dev for a second.
Yeah.
So off you go, Helen.
I do think that I would have liked a bit more Dev this season, because I get that he was traumatized by being beaten up, for example. I get that he was maniacally focused on his vision of Mars, which was not one that really included people being human.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, and I really like that, as a recognition of, again, billionaire failings. Like, they're all about the grand vision and not necessarily about people. So I thought that was really good. I get that he was traumatized by being beaten up. I get that he thought a radical act was needed to kind of force this stalemate that they were in forward, and that's why he did the war crime. Yeah, big deal.
In the middle of a flash mob, which is still unforgivable and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
No. Flash mobs themselves are war crimes. So
well, so really
which one
fault
is
on
worse?
both sides. Wow, victim blaming. Wow. Hey, it gave us Lee dancing to Gangnam Style, didn't it? So
Yeah,
come on,
I enjoyed that.
you got to give them points where it's due. But yeah, I kind of maybe wanted a scene, and the problem is he's got no one really to confide in. But I did kind of want them to find someone, or maybe when Alex comes back, to really kind of have him lay it out a little bit more than he did. I just wanted to know, well,
What is he up to?
What where are you now, buddy? How's things?
I agree,
with
Helen.
you?
I agree with you. You hit the nail on the head. But I didn't even interpret what you've interpreted of, like, him being somewhat traumatized by being beaten up or any of that. I mean, I could say he was a little bit angry at the end of the episode, but I think you're right. He was so inscrutable for this whole
Too
season.
inscrutable. That's where I was like, is he on Valium? Because I'm getting nothing from him. Like, are there beta blockers? Like, legitimately. And I didn't know if that's what they were trying to convey. Like, I couldn't figure out what was going on, because he's definitely been more emotive in previous series, and obviously we know he's a good actor. And as you're saying, he doesn't really have anyone to confide in, except for, like, briefly when Alex was like Snowdening around in his files and releasing them and all that. But I don't. At the end, I was expecting something more from him, and I don't know.
So
If he's
Devin,
in the next season, it's just. I don't know.
Yeah, I think where they left him was really interesting, because, again, like Miles, I was expecting consequences, and they didn't really go for that. No. They had more of a rapprochement and a sense of maybe not keeping himself at a remove from everyone else on Mars anymore. Like, it seemed like he was literally down in the dirt with Lee, talking to a normal person in a way that I don't know that he's done very much in the past. So I think it was actually quite a hopeful place that they left him in, and quite a positive thing. And he obviously did have that moment of heroism that sort of might justify that. But equally, I am surprised that there weren't that there wasn't more talk of consequences, or at least that there was more talk of his motivations for everything that he went through and did.
Because it kind of caused the whole thing, really. Like,
there wasn't really enough room for any of that, was there? In this, I just it does all
not.
feel a little rushed. Plus, he did have that moment with Alex where he sort of says, "Hey, look, I'm so sorry for killing your friend," and all the flash mob.
My bad.
and
but can we still be pals? Can I still be your surrogate dad, please?
We've been laughing so much for weeks about how Alex is never going to get laid, and he really thought it was going to happen on his 18th birthday, and then instead, not only did he not get laid, it was in his flash mob, and then his one of his only two friends was brutally killed by his father figure. That's tough to come back from.
That's way worse than.
Yeah. Well, we see him with a girl with her arms around his neck at the end, so we've just got to hope that at some point between seasons, probably they will take care of that.
Yeah, and also he can never leave Mars's orbit because of his medical condition that we can't remember. So he's stuck there no matter what happens.
Yeah, I wonder about that, because I mean, as a kid, he certainly had a weak heart or whatever it is. But like, if he's grown safely to adulthood, he might actually be all right.
We think he's got Mars.
I don't know that he's limited to Mars. I think he might struggle in heavy gravity, but certainly I don't see any problem with him going to Titan, for example.
Yeah. Oh, to find his mom.
We'll get to that. What
Kelly's alive.
Up to.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else happened? We had Avery and Alex have a moment with Des. I thought this was quite nice. I thought
that was nicely
good
done.
writing between
but
these
I wanted
two.
her to go like, I'm Tracy and Grotto Stevens' granddaughter. And I'm so
you just
pathetic.
wanted her to say that.
I just want their names in the show. I just wanted something from
her. Right, just that. Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of are in all the slang about, somebody. What is it? Doing a Gordo is going out without your spacesuit.
Is it? Oh, no, I didn't.
Did someone say that?
Some in the there's a couple of times this season where they use that as
Oh, I
slang.
didn't hear that.
Like that's just passed into the lexicon,
funny.
and it's really upsetting for those of us who were there at the end
Yeah.
of season
Yeah, like,
2
we know
who remember
what they did for you guys. And even we were very upset to see people like using guns, and we're like, don't you know what happens when you use guns in space?
right?
But yeah, the
Yes.
Avery stuff, like, I was more excited when we met her. I thought she was quite cool in, was it episode 3 or 2? I can't remember where we met her now, but I've been a little bit disappointed, albeit I think the actress is very good, and I just think it's a bit of a tall order to expect us all to be interested in season 6 when we've so few characters left to cling on to. And she's
Well,
not done
it's
what
the
I wanted
last
her.
season.
Yeah.
It's the last season. I mean, I think Alita is really almost the last one standing. I know Margot is technically still on the board,
I'd
but
say she'd be dead by then.
she'll be.
She's Ed's age.
She'll be
like.
very old. Yeah,
it's-
I mean, Danielle is still technically on the board on Earth, but like again, is very much
She's,
retired.
she's in
and, like,
cameo mode now.
Yeah.
Don't get me
Yeah.
involved in
No,
this.
because
yeah.
she's in paradise. She's no time to be in For All Mankind.
Yeah.
I think Helen, you said it right earlier. This is this scene with Alex and Avery feels like this is a setup for season 6.
Yeah,
that
I think
they
so.
are going to have a friendship or a relationship of some sorts.
But I was saying to Dave, my
and be
problem with
key
them both
players.
is, and I love Alex and I really like Avery, but they are both incredibly low energy, whether it's the characters or the actors. And what I'm missing, and I think what I'm missing a lot, is like the swagger of the Eds, the
The
Gordos,
fiery person.
the
Yeah.
Tracy's. Who was the one? Penny from Lost.
Penny,
what
what
was
was her name? Who went blind? What was that
She
character?
was so cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
Great
she was
swagger.
amazing.
They were all
Love her.
Ellen, like
Yeah.
because they were all those
Yeah.
pioneers. They were all so bolshy, and even Karen, Ed's wife, was like so feisty, and and Alita's very low key. Kelly's very low key.
No, Alita's super feisty these days.
She's a bit
She come on.
muted,
She looked
though.
up at the camera and said, "It's the fucking CEO." It was a great
Sure,
line.
like that's a good line.
Let me
but,
in.
like, it's almost like, sorry to put it in an Irish way, like there's no one who's any crack left on the show.
Yeah, there's
Like,
not much
there's
crack
no-
to be had on Mars.
there's no
I
fun.
agree with that.
There wasn't a lot of crack this season. That's
Yeah.
true.
No, like-
but I have hope for the
I
future.
think Moldova and the Russian guy together were the closest thing we had to like a bit of fun or a bit of intrigue, maybe, and that's why we
Yeah.
really enjoyed their.
But even
scenes.
that, oh god, like the worst, the most zero crack of this whole season was the sons and daughters of Mars, a regular meeting room in the grey back office where they have their boring
Yeah. But
plots about how much food.
I know,
Lee,
to
how
be
much food does it say? How much food we have left? Yes.
no, to be
2
fair,
weeks.
that's quite important
Yeah.
to like set up the
It
stakes
is.
and build
and you
tension.
wouldn't be having
Like,
fun in that meeting
I know,
when
but
you're
it
like
was
You
so
would
good.
with that meeting. There's no way that even if you start off with a nice icebreaker game, that meeting is still.
I know,
not
but
gonna be
okay,
fun.
but here's an icebreaker
sorry, there
game. I
was
like that.
practice
Excuse me,
season.
Lee, you cannot speak. You
There
don't
was
hold the
practice
ball.
Season. There was a flash mob.
Yeah, look what happened the last time they tried to have crack.
What I mean,
Come on.
what I mean is, if you'd Ed Baldwin in that room, that's a very different scene all of a sudden.
Yeah, but
It would have been
Right?
a different energy. Yeah, Peak Ed Baldwin,
Ed Baldwin
is,
is like
is
the
a good person
center
to
of
have in
our
the room.
gravity, and we need to get over him. But I also never will.
Yeah.
Like it was just every character in that room was boring.
Yeah.
It was so
They
Boyd
were
is
responsible.
boring.
The word you're looking for is responsible.
Yeah, but no, I don't want to watch responsible. I want to watch irresponsible.
Anyway, back to the episode.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I think Dev still has irresponsibility in him.
Yes.
And I would like to see more of it. I think AJ could definitely go irresponsible.
Who's AJ?
Do you mean Avery?
Avery.
Oh,
yeah,
Avery, oh,
sorry.
I hope she does.
Do they call
She's
her
got it
AJ?
in her. She
Um,
can do it. It's in her DNA. She can do it.
Yeah.
Also, remember
She
she
can do
like
it, I
randomly
believe it.
assaulted a colleague for no reason in the pub.
Exactly.
In
She-
episode
I mean,
2.
if that isn't
Yeah.
Gordo and Ed behavior, I don't know what is.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankly.
He was like, "Oh, is that alcohol in your glass?" And then she just decked him.
Do you know what my favorite moment of this season was? When he gets Alex his first drink twice. When Ed
Oh,
gets
I
Alex his
Yes,
first drink
that.
twice.
best scene.
Yeah,
Agreed.
best scene.
I just adored that with everything.
That's a
love that
really,
so much.
really good
That
scene.
scene
So Ed.
in Ilias with the three of them was like my favorite scene in the
Oh.
whole series. Yeah,
I just feel like
It
great
was such
scenes.
a grander move, but also such an Ed Baldwin
yeah,
move.
it was so
Just
sweet.
That was
perfect.
very good.
And I love Ilya.
Ed's send off was great.
Ilias good crack. Do it more of him.
Ilya is good crack, yeah.
So
yeah.
then to
Keep him
to
around.
round out everything on Mars, there was obviously everything. This big moment convened. All the plots converged in the marketplace. There's this big shootout, and then we have all everybody else trying to get communications back to let them know that the war has been
The war's
cancelled.
over.
And then
That was
Alex, and then they were like, and then Alex stops on his bike down the corridors at 6,
Yeah.
and this
Chekhov's
drove
motorbike.
me fucking crazy because it doesn't make any sense. And do you know how I know it doesn't make any sense? Because the show's made us watch these corridors for 10 episodes, and every single corridor turns at a 90-degree angle every 5 seconds. So there isn't a hope in hell that you telling me there's a long corridor which is a mile long or that has gentle
There's
turns.
that one corridor. You know, we haven't been there.
The long corridor, yeah. Also, sorry, they've also shown us the establishing exterior shots of the base in which it is a hodgepodge of connecting modules.
Underground.
Dave,
It's totally
this
fine.
is the only thing
I'll
I'll defend the show on this. We've only seen 2 corridors for the entire series, so there could be a lot more going on. It's also Alex's motorbike is like weirdly symbolic for the season because he finds the body in season 1 that kicked off,
which was a stupid
which
waste
went
of time
nowhere.
plot.
But yeah, he did find it,
Yeah, it was a bit.
and then in the end, look at him bringing the ceasefire news, and I genuinely thought that was nice to see him and Avery working both sides trying to do
Yeah.
the ceasefire thing. Like I thought that was good, and like
Yeah.
I guess
that's the closest. I guess that's the closest they got to her being heroic and having that moment that I was asking for.
Where she
I
puts
guess that's
down
kind of what
her
it is.
colleague's gun. Which
Yeah,
is like,
I mean,
don't shoot him.
Don't shoot him.
It's
He's
not the
gorgeous.
most
He's in the
heroic.
summer. Like, you're pretty. But no, I liked them together, and I liked their little ceasefire moment earlier on in the episode.
Yeah.
Wasn't when Alex said to her, "Don't turn left, turn right." We were like, "Is he helping her or is he trying to kill her?" And we never got the answer to that.
Oh, I did like the idea. We got the,
I took it as helping.
we got the answer.
I think he's still a kid.
We got the answer to the Ep9 riddle of why we spend so much time talking about directions. And they did explain in this episode because they've been swapping signs around, which I think back to your point, Helen,
Again,
is like fun guerrilla warfare sort of
classic guerrilla warfare tactics. My own people in Northern Ireland used to use it quite a bit. So where the streets have no name, baby, you know. So that was solid kind of storytelling and solid kind of historical, you know, doodads.
Still no graffiti on the
walls. I was very
walls.
pleased about that.
Yeah, we were saying they spent episodes on free Mars graffiti, and then it's like they forgot about it, and it's not on the corridors anymore. And I'm like, but who cleaned it off though?
I guess they
'Cause
have
they're all
been there.
starving
They
to
have
death.
been there. To be fair, they've been there for this is 6 months later, and the people.
Yeah, exactly. They may have cleaned during those 6
Yeah.
months.
Exactly, the peoples of what's
Marsies.
Boyd's police force called now? The people of the lovely people
Happy
of Mars. Thank
Valley.
you, Happy
Valley,
Happy Valley
Core, something like that.
And we
Core,
keep
yeah.
laughing about it. Basically, the theme of the season is just Alex trying to figure out a career that suits him. And now he's a medic. So he had 1 week of medical training, and now he's like, I'm going to patch up your gunshot wounds.
Why
with
is
some
he from the
duct
deep
tape."
south?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, why
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much everything that happens on Mars. We'll do the closing montage.
The only thing
Go ahead,
about
sorry.
is Miles becoming governor, president. I genuinely did gasp at that. I was astonished because he has literally just killed a room full of people.
Yes.
Like and I did think there'd be some kind of comeback for that. And I think this is more interesting because I think, you know, it is what happens a lot of the time to quote unquote freedom fighters and rebellion leaders and everything else.
And in his defense,
they're
they were
either
defending her.
executed.
Or they become the establishment.
They were attacked,
Yeah.
but he did kind of
Exactly.
start the whole thing. So it's also the plot came back that literally nobody cared about. His daughter finally found out her dad was a rat 10 years ago. It's like, lads, this finale is so
But
much
again-
stuff into it. Like that was not, or was
But
that last
yeah,
episode? I
that-
can't remember.
No, you're right. It happened,
Yeah.
and then it didn't pay off. A lot of stuff doesn't
went
pay off in
nowhere.
this season, which means they might be leaving
If
it on
they
the
bring that
board
up
for
again-
for season 6. But then what? Are we to
I
believe
think they
that
might
Lily's
too.
just been sitting on that info for 10 years, and then
But
and
it's
then
also
what?
like, okay, maybe 10 years ago he ratted, but now he's literally murdered them all. So I think we know what side he's
So like
on.
in season 6, Lily's gonna say, "Dad, I know what you did 20 years ago."
Well, to be fair, for 20 years ago and in the 10 years since then, he continued to feed them information.
Yeah,
that's
that's
true,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Throughout that whole interim.
Doesn't
But,
Lily look exactly like
yeah.
Shannon Doherty? It's amazing. She's so beautiful. Anyway, Dave,
She's so pretty.
continue with your recap. What happens?
So-
Titan. This is the best bit of the episode.
Titan, yes.
Titan. Okay, so we get this, you know, the unnamed astronaut who, well, she probably does have a name, but I don't know what it is. But their third colleague, the Russian, has got her leg wound.
Husband may or may not be dead.
Husband may or may not be dead. They
Yeah.
can't get through to, obviously they can't get through to Happy Valley because of the communications blackout. But they also, maybe you have an answer to this, Helen. We were confused as to why Kelly and Walt and unnamed Russian leg injury lady
She's German.
couldn't. She's German?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's German,
excuse
I think,
me.
yeah.
They said it in
Um,
this episode.
couldn't reach the Sojourner. Do you know why they couldn't speak to the the Sojourner?
I thought that was just thickness of the atmosphere,
was it
to be
something
honest.
like that? Okay. That's,
Yeah, and they obviously don't have any like satellites or whatever in orbit to kind of bounce
okay,
off.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The
Excellent,
so they couldn't get through, and then we had this another big standoff moment between Kelly and Walt, where she's checking the samples, the extra samples that she sneakily found, and he's like, "What are you doing? You're so reckless. You got more samples," and she's like, "Yes, but life."
Walt is an example of one of those really good side characters. Like, remember we had the guy in, was it season 3, Down on Earth with the lady, where he was like kind of the nerdy guy, and he
peed himself.
And
Yeah.
a good side character.
yeah.
This is what Walt was reminding me of. Like, you need
Walt's
good side
great.
characters who aren't related to anyone else, who aren't coming into a bigger plot, and he was a really good foil to Kelly, I think.
And Walt would be a welcome addition to season 6 in some capacity, I think. So then they all start crying. They found life. We find out that it's methane based, not carbon. I thought that was interesting, and they sort of state that this implication means that there is, so that non-carbon life forms can exist, then any form of life form could exist anywhere. So it means there's life everywhere, which I think is, I thought this was great stuff. This is pure, as you said, Helen. This is optimistic, science based, good science fiction. But there's a problem. They have to walk. They have to walk back. The thing won't work. There's not enough O2.
It was the same thing that happened. Their little drone, whatever it is in the air there, it's like wrecking mechanical pieces or something.
And so they have to decide who's going to stay, and they have this whole conversation.
I really liked that conversation. I thought it was really well written.
Yeah, it was
really
good.
good. Yeah. And I love the way the German one does say, "Look, I'm the one who's an injury," but after that, Kelly and Walt were like, "No, but you've got this and you've got that," and then the German one stayed out of it, and I was like, I would too. I would let these two duke it out.
Yeah.
I've made my initial offer.
Be like,
I've done my due.
I'm going.
I've done my
But
duty.
which one of you is dying?
Yeah, exactly, because she is right. Like, she's the one with the injury.
But it drove me nuts. Okay, not to bang on about it, but they're all talking about their families, and they're trading who's got the more families, so that because they're all trying to die. And so Kelly's like, "Well, my son's grown, and Walt, you've got a young family." And this would have been the perfect moment to tell us if this German astronaut's husband is alive or was he killed in the Mars Revolt. And she says nothing.
But they still don't know. They still don't know, I guess.
But it's in 6 months.
They've been in contact with their
just tell us.
No, they should have said, "And Fräulein, you have no family."
They had Alida, don't have Alida
Dave,
get on the blower to her and say, "We're so sorry,
Dave,
your husband's in critical condition," and never tell us.
We can't. We've been banging on about this for weeks. We are incredibly tedious. This is, the way you said, Helen, you watched all 8 episodes back to back. We watched.
We have to live with this for weeks on end, Helen.
We furiously take notes on every episode and then record detailed analysis, way too detailed, by the way. But though I think it was really good. I think Helen's right in that, like, Kelly's redeeming her original sin of like forcing them to tighten, and I think Kelly's done the right thing here. Like, if Kelly'd gone back and left one of them there, it would have been so evil.
Oh God, yeah, it would have been. She would have been the show's villain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, whether you think she's kind of earned forgiveness or not with this sacrifice.
No, is the answer.
We can have a discussion about that. Yeah, I don't think it's a I don't think it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the balance is off. But I think she has at least done the best she could to earn some sort of forgiveness, if you like. Like, she's done her best. Whereas I think if she had left, for example, Waltz or German lady whose name we don't remember on the planet, that would have been absolutely
unforgivable,
twice over
horrible.
her fault.
But
like, it's not.
But also, to both of your points from earlier, that would have been against character if she did that. Like,
yes, it would, because she isn't actually a monster.
No.
Like,
she's just obsessed with finding life.
She's just a bit like Dev. She is monomaniacally obsessed with finding alien life. She looked on Mars. She's been all over, for this 10 years. She's been going on mission after mission after mission. They've been finding nothing. She's pushed. She's risked everything on other people's part as well as her own, without consent, to go to Titan.
That's the issue.
And if she but now she has found it, she just needs somebody to survive.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be her.
Yeah, exactly.
Her mission is done.
Yeah.
She would of course like to go back to her son, but I think she understands that she is the right person at that point to stay.
Yeah.
I take issue.
And I like that she brings the I love that she brings the plaque with her
I
that Ed
love
left to
that.
her.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought that
So
was
that's
so nice.
your sort of full circle moment. That was
I
beautiful.
was bawling when she recorded her video message.
That made me
Oh,
cry
God,
as well.
Yeah, I was bawling crying
Yeah,
at
it was
that.
good.
And I think like I was like, Kelly's not going to die purely because I was like, we just don't have enough characters. They can't kill another character off. So I was, in that sense, I was kind of really surprised they killed her off.
Yeah.
But on reflection,
me
I
too.
genuinely think, and I had joked
She's not
last
dead.
week that I thought she was going to, like Spider in Avatar 3 style, find some life thing that she could like, she could feed oxygen from on this planet. And I legitimately think now that she's in that pool of water.
They're going to do that. I
she's
think
alive.
you predicted it.
I don't think she. No,
No?
I don't think it's that kind of show. I don't. I had a moment where I wondered, is it that kind of show?
Yeah.
Is this like the alien from the abyss?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
lights in the water, like turning up to save her. I did have a moment of that. I'm like, oh, that would be a big bold storytelling step forward, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
season 6 just full alien.
Just full
But
alien.
yeah, so you think
And-
she's
and
dead?
I think she's dead.
I think you're
Yeah,
probably
I
right, Helen.
I
actually.
absolutely.
I think
she's dead.
that
Yeah.
you're right. That
I mean,
is
what
the
I'm
type
saying
of show
is
this
facetious.
is. You're right.
But I do think
No, I thought
just
about it. I
surprised they killed her.
wondered.
I'm so surprised they killed her off because I'm like, okay, we've like no one left to follow now.
I would. I also wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of season 6 that they return to Titan and they do find her somehow living there.
Yeah.
Or remnants of the fact that maybe she survived longer than what they were expecting.
Maybe.
But she,
Yeah, something like that is possible, I guess. Like she survived a bit of extra time, but I think that's meant to be her death, and it was a surprise because I think we all thought, or I certainly thought, well, they've killed off Ed.
Yeah.
You know, they killed off a few characters. You know, Kelly's okay. Kelly's going to be fine.
Yeah,
She has
same.
a son, and I thought she'd still be around, but really, it is just Alita on the board from season 1 at this point.
Yeah, that's wild.
Was Kelly
No,
even season
no,
1?
Kelly's
She really
season
kind of
two.
season 2,
Yeah.
isn't she? Yeah.
oh my god, and how touching was it? Sorry, not to go way back, but in episode 3 when Ed died and we got to see Gordo and we got to see
Karen.
his little boy again. Oh my god,
oh my
and
God.
Karen, we were bawling at that.
Not a dry eye in the
Yeah,
house.
I loved. Ed got such a nice send off. Kelly's send off is a bit sadder. It's like Margot's. It's yeah, you got what you wanted scientifically, but like from Alex's perspective, it's like how's he like? So first of all, I keep saying Helly has found life on Mars because she birthed an alien in the orbit of Mars before. So she has created an alien who can't go to Earth. He's very much trapped by circumstance caused by her in space, and like it's a bit of a shitty move. Like his father figure, who's his grandfather, has just died. Even when his friend died in the flash mob and Kelly phoned him, she was like, "Oh, sorry about your friend," and we were like, "Would you not know her
But
name?"
it's actually not a shitty move. It's a heroic move, and it was the right logical move as well. Like
Sure.
I think Kelly's decision. Now, arguably,
But
you could say the
Walt was
person with the
saying-
injury should have stayed
But
behind.
Walt was
and
saying in like episode 2, like or whatever, but like we should just send a drone. Like Kelly's
I
the one
know,
who
yeah,
insisted on going
yeah.
in person.
I think a drone could have done all this.
I really no.
I don't know if a drone would have found it. And if the machinery is having
Yeah, the
problems,
machinery's
then
having
the drone
problems.
might just have.
I did love the callback when they landed on Titan and they all put their feet down at the same time.
But
I
that
loved
was
that,
nice.
But
Yeah,
guys,
me
like
too.
okay, not like Walt. If we follow Walt's train of thought from the very beginning,
poor Walt.
right? Send a like that. Why are we rushing? Send a drone, then make sure it's safe. Then send humans. Like the whole, which I guess is the core of the show. It was the space race again and the competition factor.
Because Kerrigan, who
And
we'd never
because
heard hiding her hair up again.
Corrigan completely underwritten. You, which I thought was a complete like failure of this season to be setting up this evil corporation to have Boyd go into the receptionist's lounge to the reception and the lobby of this corporation and to be shut out, and it's just like, oh, they're shutting down the police, and then it's all this big mysterious thing, and to have this whole other Corrigan rival spaceship and it's you know, it's like to set all this up, and then it's just like, I don't know, I felt like none of that came to fruition in the way that the Soviet Union were an enemy or the way that Helios was factored in. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think maybe it is about, again, reflecting real world politics a bit in the same way that, like, okay, so China's technically a communist country, but like is out competing the West in loads and loads of ways capitalistically, if that is that a word. Anyway,
no, you're right.
you know, I think Kurgan is a little bit like trying to reflect that sort of a dynamic. It's like, okay, technically the USSR still exists, technically they're still communist, but now their corporations are going toe to toe with us, and we don't have it all our own way anymore. And I think there's been a tendency, maybe in season maybe 3 and 4, certainly 4, to kind of overlook Russia as like a force still, or the USSR as a force still running kind of counter to NASA. And that was all about, I mean, yes, Earth, quote unquote, wanted the asteroid, but it was kind of the US and NASA, and Russia was in the deal with them, but it wasn't leading that fight particularly.
Yeah.
I think this is more about, no, they are acting independently now. They are capable on the same level as like a Dev or a Helios of acting. So I get introducing Kurgan, but who, by the way, were still like in league and colluding with Dev and Helios and NASA and the US,
together,
which is an interesting wrinkle, but in the same way that, you know, factories in China are, you know, using their labor to build iPhones, right? It's the same kind of relationships, I think, that they're sort of maybe playing with there.
So intertwined.
So, but yeah, I mean, look, logically, you and Walt are 100% right. There is no rush. Titan will still be there in a year.
Yeah.
But I think it is this sense of, well, it's kind of what you were asking for. It's the push forward and the sense of
She's a
adventure.
Baldwin.
And you know, she's a Baldwin.
And arguably, and I think this is what the show is saying, and is what is reflective of our society, is that the only way we do drive ourselves forward is by competition, and competition is healthy to a point. But also, but also, lads, everyone on the Kurgan ship died because they rushed, and Kelly risks everyone's life.
Dave, you have to forgive Kelly. Look,
I don't forgive Kelly.
She's either dead or like a Navi.
She's not getting off that easy.
And what did you think about the variant, Ellen, when they flash forward? Because that's always our favorite bit, when you like zoom into the next season.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused initially because I was, quite frankly, watching it in a room with reflections on the TV, and I couldn't tell what was going on. So I had to watch again. So one of my colleagues was like, "Is that the Kurgan ship that went off course?
That's what
that was
I
meant to go to
thought
Titan?"
initially.
But
I
no,
don't think that. I think it's a new ship.
No, it's an old ship. I've looked this up.
It's an old ship.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Yep.
Ellen.
This is the ship from season 3. This is the Russian ship that the Russians had to abandon on the race to Mars in season 3. And they basically all went aboard the American ship and landed all together on Mars at the same time.
Kelly met Alex's dad, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is the abandoned Russian ship from season 3, which was then left to drift and has now clearly drifted out
To Saturn.
towards Saturn, where something has pinged it or whatever else.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad,
So
because
I
truly got
don't
none
know
of that.
what that means.
Okay, I truly got none of that from what we were watching.
Well, we I'm sure a lot of people did this. And there'll be explainer videos, I'm sure, and all this kind of stuff. But we put Google Translate up to the screen on the Russian
Oh, you're clever.
text,
My
and
idea, thanks,
we have
Ellen.
it here. Yeah, well done, Kathy. And it's not very insightful, but it says D colon backslash, you know, classic, the D drive.
Yep.
So that, you know, this has a good. It's on the D drive. It says detection of GV308041 / and then the name Nikulov, which of course is Sergei's name. So, what does that mean? Is it could it just be like he would have programmed that ship, right, as their
could
chief
be.
engineer?
We're so desperate. We
at
just
Star
want now a
City?
Sergei somehow to be involved.
Yes, bring Sergei back. I know he's dead.
I
but
know.
still.
He might be in Star City, though. I'm holding out. I'd hope for that. We haven't watched it yet.
Absolutely possible.
Yeah, so it's intriguing. It didn't have quite the needle drop we usually get on one of these things. What was the song? I didn't even recognize it, I have to say.
Oh yeah, it was a recognizable song.
Can you remember it?
No,
It
well,
was,
no.
yeah, which I've now forgotten. No, but it was a really kind of 2020 song.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe 2020, a lot of that been erased from my mind for obvious reasons.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Let's forget about it ever happening
And
again.
in terms of the
It'll be
alternate
interesting to see.
future, like, do they have COVID? One of our patrons pointed out that in this episode we actually saw like an EV that only exists now in our present day, but was in that because they're
Was in
obviously ahead of us on
2012,
electric
Yeah, because
vehicles.
they started having electric vehicles in the 80s. So basically, the alt history thing there is that the US government didn't bail out GE General Motors, GM, in the 80s. And therefore, General Motors was apparently the company that basically always blocked electric cars.
Oh, interesting. I
So,
didn't catch that.
so that combined with the better technology that they developed for the moon
For the space
project
race, yeah.
led to electric vehicles earlier on, which is why you've heard very, very little about climate change in the world of For All Mankind, because it hasn't been as much of a problem because they moved much earlier to cleaner sources of fuel.
And they're using the like clean energy now for Mars, and I love if we got a little bit more of the old history stuff. Like we really just got it in the opening montage of this season. Which I always love, the opening like montage.
Well, Earth was largely abandoned in this season, right?
Yeah, exactly. Earth's kind of been left behind, but I think also just the idea is that there's been too many different dominoes have fallen now, so things are too different to keep doing that. Like you're not just going to keep mentioning people who credibly could have been president in the 80s and weren't, you know. It's now too many things have changed, so
because like Al Gore was their last real shot at that.
John Lennon for president. Let's go.
I love every time they show, they always show us John Lennon. How are you feeling going into season 6 then? Are you excited?
I'm excited. I believe it's the final season, which I'm not excited about. But I just love the premise and the idea and the ethos of this show. I agree on some level that there were bits in this season that could have been sharper or better or were lacking. But I still had just the best time watching it.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Yeah. And thank you, Helen, for injecting a bit of optimism.
Yeah, you've taken us out of our misery. You're our flash mob.
You've almost convinced me that I like it.
Oh no, I'm a flash mob.
I do wait, where? This can happen also when we do because we often do on Patreon, we do episodic reviews of stuff. When it ends up being something that you're disappointed by or not as enjoying, the episodic reviews make you dislike it even more because you're nitpicking.
It becomes a chore.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have been there. I have done those reviews, and it can be a chore.
Yeah, and you tend and you become more resentful towards it. I think if we had this, and I think another key factor is we, like you said it at the top, Helen. You binged this in one go. We watched it week to week. So every week it would come back around like a thorn in our side, and I got to sit there taking notes and scrutinize this thing to
death. We've had so much fun. But actually, the most fun we've had is slagging the show off.
Yeah, we did have a lot.
We won't get into it with you, Helen. It's too cruel. You like the show too much. But we love you coming on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for coming, Helen.
Always a pleasure.
We had Helen last on end of January on our live show in London where we talked all about rom-coms.
Yeah, which you can scroll back and listen to.
Scroll back and listen to on the feed. We're putting this out on our main feed. We put the first episode and we'll put out the last episode of the season. So welcome anyone who hasn't been following along on this so far. Helen, are you going to watch Office Romance? New rom-com?
I am absolutely planning on doing that the moment they send me the link. Very, very excited.
Yeah. That's the Brett Goldstein rom-com, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, this is Brett Goldstein, and I've recently actually binged all of Shrinking. And
I've heard it's really good. We liked it and kind of fell off it, so we need to get back in again.
That was how I felt after the first couple of episodes, and then I watched all of the rest in about 3 days.
We should keep going. And, we watched one and we liked it, but
we did. We need to keep going. We've just finished Beef season 2, which we really enjoyed. We're just about to.
I have to watch that. You're ahead of me there.
We're just about to watch season 5 of Hacks. So there's loads going on. Thank you so much for coming. We love your optimism. Pleasure. And do you want to tell everyone where they can find you and all your various very busy endeavors?
Various things. I am on the Empire podcast every week, and we also do spoilers for the big movies mostly. I also am on Blue Sky and such as Helen L. O'Hara, and I am in bookshops. You can buy Women vs. Hollywood, a Quentin Tarantino dictionary, or 50 film ideas you really need to know in all good or evil bookshops right now.
Amazing! I never heard of the third
good
one.
Or evil bookshops.
I never heard
like
of your 50. What was it? Is that a new one?
50 film ideas you need to know. So it's like there's actually a series. They've already done like quantum physics and like architecture, and they suddenly realized, oh no, we forgot film. It's much harder, obviously. It's harder than quantum physics, isn't it? It takes longer to get around to. So they needed obviously someone who's basically a quantum physicist for film, and they couldn't find any, so then I wrote it. So
amazing. Okay, we need to get that one. And I'm always banging on about Women vs. Hollywood, but I love it. It's truly one of my favorite books. It sits very proudly on our bookshelf. So thank you, Helen, for coming on. Such a pleasure to have you.
Absolute pleasure. Lovely seeing you guys.
Bye.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 45% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.